I am on a journey to beat the Touhou series on Lunatic difficulty, the hardest mode. And I have a special one for you today. We have Touhou 8 Imperishable Night. This is by far my favorite Touhou game. The atmosphere is incredible, both visually and audibly. And gameplay-wise, it has a bunch of mechanics that we don't see in any of the other games. And this has my favorite bullet patterns in Touhou. It has the perfect blend of your puzzle routing patterns and your raw dodging patterns like we saw in the last games. This is the biggest Touhou game. I compare it to like the Armed Police Batrider of the Touhou series. There is so much jam-packed in here with the big roster of playable teams and characters, the alternate stages and bosses, and the even hidden content like the secret last words that aren't even in the main game. Depending on what team you play, you get to fight the main characters, Reimu or Marisa on stage 4, and there's 2 different final bosses based off which route you pick for the final stage. We have 4 different teams, each with a human yokai pair, where the human will act as your unfocused shot and focusing will swap to the yokai character. Each team has special features unique to their team, like the border team that has a small hitbox. You get a different bomb based off which character is active when you bomb, but if you death bomb, the opposite character will come out with a high-powered version of their bomb. Death bombs function very differently. The window is massive and easy to react to, but using a death bomb will drain 2 of your bombs, or 1 if that's all you got. So if you rely on them too much, then your bomb resources drain extremely fast. Instead, what you want to do is you want to get better at bombing preemptively to keep your resources intact. Luckily, this is one of the most resource-generous games. Hitting all the point 1-ups is much easier than Perfect Cherry Blossom, and there are tons of bombs to compensate for the double bomb use from death bombs. My favorite mechanic in this game is the familiar system. Big enemies will spawn these familiars, which are unhittable in yokai form, but tangible if we are human and can destroy them. A lot of these are bullet spawners, so if we can take them out, we can make boss patterns easier, but the thing I really enjoy is how this game takes notes from Pro Gear and how it does its bullet cancels. If you kill the host of these familiars, then the familiars will cancel any bullets on top of them, and you're gonna see how we can use these to great effect in routing the stage portions. Now, who should we pick? All of the teams have something cool and unique going on, but really, Border Team is the strongest and most straightforward. But I wanted to try a different team, and the Ghost team caught my eye. This team has inverted logic with their shot types. The unfocused character, Yomu, has all of the single target damage, whereas when we focus with Yuyiko, we get the spread shot to hit the whole screen. This weird configuration actually simplifies much of the stage routing due to the crazy amount of coverage we can get. Yomu has our ghost half, which aims the opposite direction that we move in, so we can cover different areas at once, but it has so many angles that it's hard to control. What makes it way more manageable is that when you focus and unfocus, the ghost will always be facing up. So if you run under a boss, focus, unfocus, now you're getting all of your damage. This team's special feature is that when we end a stage with less than 3 bombs, we get a bomb back. Yomu is the best normal bomb, so we always want to be unfocused when we bomb, whereas Yuyiko's normal bomb is terrible, but her death bomb is extremely high damage, so we always want to bomb with Yomu if we can. I'm going to be showing you a run with the Ghost team that gets through finalB route to fight Kaguya at the end. I streamed this run live, and a finalA route that I'll put below. But now let's see how hard it is to beat my favorite Touhou game, but on Lunatic difficulty. Let's begin. Now, the games have been ramping up how fast we power up in the early game, and that's no exception with this one. Instead of needing to be full power before we can go to the top of the screen to absorb all the items to us at the point of collection, we can now do it all the time by just switching to our yokai mode by just focusing at the top of the screen. Now, look at these big fairies. This is what makes this game pretty unique. They spawn these familiars out. We're waiting for the familiars to pop out. You can hear the sound effect when they do. And to then kill them, because once they're out and we kill the big fairy, they cancel all the bullets around them. So a lot of the big enemies in this game, we just wait for the familiars, and the familiars are going to cancel most of the big bullet patterns. And as for like the Zako, all these like little fairies and everything, with this team, we have access to in focus. We have Yuyiko, and she covers so much here that she can simplify a lot of the stages. Here's our first mid-boss, Wriggle. Now, Yuyiko, because we have that widespread, she doesn't do much damage to the bosses, so we want to get under Wriggle and switch to Yomu. Whenever we switch, we shoot vertically straight up. So if our ghost is misaligned, we just go under where we want to be, and then we switch focus, unfocus, and now it's facing straight up. This pattern's probably the hardest one in the first stage. It's a bit of the wall for Lunatic. You just want to make sure you don't get spawned on by some of these curvy walls. Now, if you look on the side, every time we're canceling bullets, we're getting time and killing like bosses and everything. We need to hit the time requirement on 2 stages, and then we have enough time to beat the game. Otherwise, like, we're forced to hit 2. Otherwise, we run out of time before the last 2 stages. It's not a big deal, though. It turns out we're consequential. We're just going to hit the time requirement in 2 of these stages. It's really not bad at all, and you get a lot on the bosses as well. Yuyuko's spread is really bad for hitting bosses at the bottom of the screen, but where we have a safe spot right here where we could just bait everything up top, it turns out she point blanks and just deletes the boss. Now, look at these familiars that come out. Even the bosses use them, and they often, in a lot of these patterns, we could delete the familiars to make the pattern easier. Look, now all those aim blue bullets, they won't come out. We just have to dodge whatever's left here. So a lot of the times it's worthwhile to go and kill them in our human form. And you go, look here, we can even nullify this whole pattern. If we just sit under, kill the middle one, we go to the other one because our ghost hits the opposite side. We kill a lot of them, and we only have these green bullets. Whenever she spreads out all this, like, 5 spread of them, we just start focusing on the boss itself, and she dies. Now, because we're on the ghost team, our special ability is if we have less than 3 bombs, then we get a bomb back at the end of the stage. Since we had 3 bombs, this was a completely free bomb to use. Now, this is a last spell. You get this if you meet the time requirement. See, we met it. We're above 3K. And this is, we do not lose any resources for messing this up. This is strictly for score. We don't really gain anything but score. So these are like a challenge. We don't need these for the clear, but they're fun to do. They're fun to go for, and they're pretty unique. And that's our first stage. We can already see what makes this game a lot more unique compared to the last 2. It's a way different feel and vibe. See, the time will only go by a half hour if we met the time requirement. We just have to do that twice. This stage is a lot faster, a lot more high speed with a bunch of small enemies. We can use Yomu in a way like this, since we could aim our ghost another direction, or we could just use Yuyuko at the bottom of the screen to hit the entire thing. We don't need to worry too much about picking up all the items because the point requirement to hit all of the 1-ups that we want is not very hard to hit in this game compared to Perfect Cherry Blossom. Now, these big enemies, you're going to see how we want, the way our routing wants to work is we want to memorize where these big enemies are, and we're just going to macro them. We're just going to be under them as they spawn and moving off to the side. Any bullets that are remaining, if we're on top of them shooting them fast, then they could barely get anything out, and then the familiars just cancel whatever's left. And it handles them really nicely. So that's kind of how we want to handle the stages. We want to memorize the big enemies, and we stream around them. See, look at this big wave that happened. But because Yuyuko kills everything at once, the familiars canceled like a lot of problems. This way, the stages are not bad at all in this game because we've really just canceled most of the stuff. The routing helps in this game a lot with not having to deal with too many bullets. See, like that, like we don't have to dodge at all. Now, these enemies, they're going to shoot a familiar out when they come in, and then they're going to shoot a big pattern. So we either sit at the bottom like this, hold Yuyuko focus, and we just kill all of them. But these ones, when they're in a line, we want them to shoot their familiar out and then let them shoot their bullets, and we cancel their entire huge bullet pattern, and it's giving us tons and tons of time. And now we're off to the mid-boss. This is a fun safe spot. You can hang out here. Something we're going to see a lot in this game, we're going to use the UI element to set up safe spots. Look at the bottom. You see that human yokai gauge? We can use that in a lot of the cases where we want to do silly safe spots like this. So look at this pattern. We're on the Y. And it just makes it so that we don't have to deal with like a lot of this pattern. And like if we mess it up and like we see a bullet ahead of us, it's going to hit, this pattern's easy enough that we can adjust. But it's just like some things that we don't have to think about. Like anything that we don't want to leave room for like an execution error or a dodging thing, I like to go for. So stuff like that helps. We'll do that a bunch. Look at this pattern. So she moves off to the side and then comes back to the original position. That'll matter for the next non-spell. That's important because this one's pretty easy, but the next one functions similar to this, but it's a lot more scary. Now, her first spell card, this is the most dangerous thing she has, I think. We want to kill a couple familiars just so we don't have to dodge these red bullets till later. The sound cue is whenever she shoots this long purple stream. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the red bullets, looking pretty intently near my character, dodging red bullets. And whenever I hear the sound cue, I just make sure I'm like moving in a direction. Now look here, we want to be directly under her, and then she's going to come back. We do this so that we can use Yomu and kill these familiars before they spawn too many of these blue bullets, before they overwhelm the screen. Same thing here, we just stick in the original position, hold Yomu at the end, and we try to kill as many of them as we can. This one, we wait for a flash, and then we run up. And now we got point blank the rest of this pattern. If we're holding focus so the familiars can't ram us, we can seal the bullets they shoot, so we don't have to dodge anything. Now, the second form we want to deal with differently. This one looks scary because we have our vision restricted. But really, all we're doing is we're pretty much just waiting for a bullet to come down at us. And then we'll move to the left and up. And we're moving kind of in a C motion. So we just wait for where's the threatening bullet? There's one at us. So we just move to the left and up. And that way, we don't really have to micro through these that hard. We have a general movement pattern that'll handle most of them. And we can adjust a little bit as we see whatever bullet patterns we got. This one I don't capture, but what I think you do... What I think you do is you want to be up a little bit and then moving down. So whenever the green bullets come into view, you're giving yourself more time. If you're stuck at the bottom of the screen, you have to snap react to where these green bullets are, and it's really scary. They'll come in and snipe you. It's hard because of the blue bullets. I think you can probably just bait Mystia's movement path in a way that you can use Yomu again, like the second non-spell, in order to kill all of them. But now we've met the requirements already. Stage 3 has a lot of big enemies that shoot a lot of problematic patterns if they live, but we can handle them with the route like this to where they can't do anything. Like, look at this. We wait for the second fairy to shoot, and then we just hold Yu-Gi-Oh! And tap to the left. Any bullets that remain are just aimed at us, and everything else gets canceled from their familiars. Like, look at how we handle this next section. So we, like, start at the bottom, and we're just going to hold Yu-Gi-Oh! And tap up. And due to the familiars being on the sides like this, they cancel all the bullets. We do the same thing here. We don't have to be right at the very bottom. But we start down and then just start tapping up. For this next wave, we want to be right here and tapping to the left. And by the time it looks like it's about to sandwich us, we gotta find escape out. These enemies, we only have to worry about these big spreads, like these blue bullets and now these red ones that are coming up. Like, these pellets don't matter because they're aimed. And by the time we kill the enemy, they cancel all these bullets and now we can escape out and it's fine. Now we're to the mid-boss. We want to kill these front two familiars. With Yomu, we can aim to kill him right away like this, and it handles this a lot easier. Bullets are kind of fast here, but if we do that, we don't have to dodge too many of them. My spell card history, you've probably noticed, is 0 out of 0 because this is a new install. You'll have to watch the live run if you want to see that. I bring that up because this pattern I probably spent the most amount of time on. I found this strategy's okay. We start on the Y, and we're holding Yomu to try to kill as many familiars as we can, and then we go over to like the E or the N and make like a similar dodge to this. If we've done this, and we switch to Yomu whenever we can, we've killed a decent amount of familiars to try to make the dodges as easy as possible. You can make it so your dodging path is somewhat similar. Now, don't skip the dialogue. We need to be up here, because otherwise these start spraying everywhere. But if we handle it like this, we can macro everything in one go. We will get stuck on the top left, but it's easy because we could just, we just around the world. And it leaves us in the perfect position to handle this big fairy here. And just like the ones of this type from before, it doesn't matter. We just stream to the side, and whenever they die, we just have this clean open lane to escape out of. Same thing with these ones. You can see we get a lot of bomb drops in this game. A Keine. For her non-spells, we want to be directly under her, holding Yomu, so we kill a bunch of the familiars at the very beginning. So look at this here. She has a whole bunch of them. We want to kill the front two. And now, we want to do diagonals. We want to be moving off to the sides. We don't want to be directly under her. We just move in these side motions like this. And even with Yu-Gi-Oh, we do enough damage before any more iterations happen. This is the hardest spell. This is the Ketsui Stage 2 boss. This shit is really hard. We can only kill like two or three of the familiars. That's our goal, to kill 2 or 3 of them, and then work with what we got. If those are alive, then we get problems. I use a Yomu bomb here just for consistency. I don't want to have to use like a double bomb from like a... All right, this pattern, be at the very, very middle, and we're safe until the singular bullet is about to stop us. Now, we just have to get around the blue bullets and be in the direct middle. The direct middle is perfectly safe from every red bullet, and we just have to make sure to be around the blue. This non-spell, same thing as the first one. We sit under it, and we kill a lot more familiars. Because of that, there's a lot more open gaps here. They're a bit faster, but you have a lot of openings, just as long as we treat it the same way. And I sit under here, just to make sure we do the damage. This one is interesting. We want to be as high up as possible. There's some like safe spot strats you could do at the very top if you want. But if you want to dodge it, you want to be up high. The lanes are constantly switching. I use a bomb for safety because it's kind of clippy. It could blindside you. This is a static pattern. Start on the Y, move up from the enemy logo. Whenever these lasers come in, we move to the left and down. And now, from now on, every time a bullet is about to hit us, just whichever one is the aimed one directly on us, we just tap to the left. It's completely static. We don't even look at the lasers or any of the other bullets. It handles everything. I even did my movement wrong here. I like slapped the stick too hard. I went like left, right. Same thing with this one. This is our last spell. We start on the M, and we just wait for the bullet that's directly at us. We move to the right. Wait for the bullet that's about to hit us directly to the left. These patterns look so crazy, and they're like the most brain-dead patterns. because they're completely static, and you can have like a one set of movement that completely handles everything like that. So you get that, and you don't have to worry about the last two patterns, and you can instead worry about that first spell card, which is a big problem. Stage 4 is the big difficulty spike in this game. This stage is a lot harder than most of the game. Depending on which character you pick, on which team you pick, you're going to get different end boss between Reimu or Marisa. Here, we're going to fight Marisa. Now, we just tap up. We handle it similarly to the last stage. We're going to handle this section by just starting on the right. We macro everything off to the side. These big enemies, you see, we're going to start mashing focus. So we get Yomu Yuyuko, Yomu Yuyuko. This is so that the familiars disappear whenever you are in Yuyuko. So your Yomu shots don't get blocked by the familiars, and we can actually damage this big fairy. But we will have to handle these big enemies, and while they look spooky, look at what happens. We just sit under one, and we tap along with it, and we usually get clean lanes to escape out the side, even with like two of them like that. These enemies, we want to be right on top of them, right on top of these big fairies. We're on the left side of the screen. Most of these are on the middle or on the left side. But you see, we're right on top of them. It cancels everything. We don't have to deal with them. Now we're to the final section. We got to deal with the barrage of these. We follow along with it. Now it's going to spawn on the left for the second wave. So we make sure to be on the left, moving to the right. And now we can handle the final two. And you can see we just tap along with it, and then we keep tapping along that way. We can escape out. We want to make sure to grab the two bombs, and then don't worry about dodging these because they'll all disappear. And now we reach Marisa. Marisa is a really hard boss. What we want to do for this first pattern is we're going to use the UI element once again, and we're going to line up away. We need to kill a bunch of familiars for this first non-spell to make it easier. Otherwise, the dodges are pretty hard. So we're going to get on this Y. We're going to move to the Y, and then we'll tap down if we want to aim our ghost so that it can hit the sides and finish off some of these familiars. Each of these colored bullets are relating to one of these familiars. So we just try to live at the start, try to hit Yomu when we can. And now the only bullets that are remaining are these yellow ones. So as long as we can lift that starting bit, it makes a really scary pattern. We barely have to deal with anything. Asteroid Belt, this one is so sick, but it is really, really hard. What I do is I don't even focus on the big stars are predictable. We know how they're always going to move. What's not predictable are these small ones. So I'm hard focusing on these yellow and green stars. And then you can figure out when you can like make a dash to the left so you don't lose space. But that's a very bombable one, and we need to make sure we're using Yomu bombs. Yomu bombs are really good. This is a static pattern. I'm flicking focus unfocus because she has a shield of familiars blocking our Yomu shots. I didn't bother learning the second half of this because I don't like this spell at all. I don't like this attack at all. So we just last till here, and then even though she still has a bunch of health, focus unfocus, you get a lot of your shots through. This one should be easy, but it's a little bit finicky. You are trying your best to make sure that these familiars just don't spawn a bullet right on top of you. That's the main danger here. There's a few ways to handle it. I just handle it like this. The only danger handling it this way is just making sure you're watching these familiars. I got scared of the familiar and I wasn't even paying attention to the star. Now don't skip the dialogue. We want to pre-position ourselves, so we start at the bottom. We're holding focus and we're tapping up, so we handle everything just fine, and there's barely anything that we actually have to dodge. And we're going to make it up here. Now we're flicking focus on focus again, so we handle these. You'll notice whenever we get this variation of these enemies, we're doing that pretty much. Now these, I fucked up my pattern a bit. You can see I killed the right big fairy too late, so we had to make a bit spooky dodges. Now I just handle these two though. You can see the clean lane is especially noticeable there if you tap correctly, how easy they are to escape out of. And they drop us some bombs that compensate for risks of being hard by dropping us so many bombs. Now this pattern, these are gonna boomerang back around. So we don't want to be at the bottom of the screen where we get smacked from a bit off the sides and off screen. We want to be up a bit, and we're mostly just focusing on where the biggest open area is. We're not trying to dodge what's ahead of us. We're just looking for big open areas. For this spell, because we can aim our option, aim our ghost thing, we can just hold to the left and we can hit Marisa and not have to deal with any of these big stars or these lasers. We are just looking at the most recent wave of the small stars that pop out. And we're trying to notice if they're slow or fast. If they're slow, then we just keep streaming. We just keep tapping down or keep tapping up as we do. And then we react to if they're a fast star and we move up a bit. And if we get multiple fast ones in a row, we can decide that that's when we'll make our cutback and switch directions or whatever. But if we get multiple slows in a row, we pretty much just want to keep moving in the same direction, so we find an opportunity with the fast ones to swap. It's kind of hard to capture that one to do enough damage because the ghosts kind of be flinging bullets everywhere. This one is oddly easier than the normal mode one I found, for some reason. Now we flick focus on focus because look at how many familiars she has as shields to block our Yomu shots. So whenever we're in an area where we can stand still for a bit, we just flick focus on focus, focus on focus. This one is scarier than it looks. However, the rumbling kind of makes it a bit spooky. Now, the way you die to this pattern is you get scared of the laser and then you run into a star. The stars are the actual thing that kills you here. So whenever we're in a position like this, we are just waiting. I'm trying to sit under her to hit with Yomu for damage to get it done faster. But we just wait till the laser sounds and we're watching up ahead to see what our movement path will be. So I'm just looking up ahead on the left to see where our movement will be. And the moment we hear the sound, then we can just make our way over. You don't even need to be fast. You could just hold Yuyiko and just hold to the side and you'll make it in time. The laser's even smaller than you think. This is a bit of a spooky one. We are going to stream all of the yellow bullets to the side, and we're going to manage our movement on how fast we're moving to the side. And up or down as we need be to like micro around whatever angles of these we get. Now, because we have 3 bombs, I just am going to live as long as I can and then use a Yomu bomb. We want to use Yomu bombs because a normal Yuyiko bomb's not very good. Now, this is a very cool one. I think it's mostly static, but I think her movement at the start can differ. So we're going to follow the same general pathway and how we bait the Master Spark because it rotates on us pretty aggressively. But if you handle it in a similar way like this, you really just need to make a pathway through the stars. Now, you can see a spicy moment a bit later. If you bait the laser incorrectly, instead of something like this where it's not covering too much ground, it covers a whole lot of ground and gets really, really spooky. I think that's the next iteration here. This is the last spell, so you don't need to capture this one. But it's fun to do. Since we aim this like straight down, you can see we gotta go really fast. So I'm holding hard Yomu, and we're going really, really fast through that. That one was a miracle we actually made it through. But this is a stage where using your bombs is pretty good. Using Yomu bombs when you can. Stage 5 is my favorite stage. There's a lot of cool stuff we could do. Like at the very beginning here. We moved down along with the big fairy. And now this huge scary looking pattern. We're completely safe from it. And we get the Yuyiko shotgun, so it kills it pretty fast. We're going to make a lot of use out of the ghost team here. We want to be right under these first fairies that are in this line here, so that they just shoot directly down. So even if we don't kill them very quickly, they're just shooting down. We just tap them, we're fine. We're going to get a bunch of waves of these fairies coming in. So we start directly under them using Yuyiko to hit all of them, and we just move to the side that they didn't spawn on. And we keep doing this over and over, and we should have to do the minimum amount of dodges whenever we get to the open side. And we're going to do this until all the fairies will spawn everywhere like this. And now we just need to live and get to a corner to last as long as possible, and we get an automatic cancel. Now we're going to use Yuyiko shotgun once again in the safe spot. So we drag ourselves down along with these. You don't want to move too fast down because you'll run into a bullet ahead that they shoot. But we have middle, left, right, and we can do this for all of them, and it kills them pretty fast. Now we're going to do the opposite direction. We're going to use Yomu's shot here to take out the familiars so they don't shoot all that much, even though they're blocking our shots. Like, look at how many bullets we have to not deal with for doing it that way. Here's Touhou. There's like a strategy. You like sit your middle, and then when the bullets come out, you like dip off to the side, and it's kind of safe in this spot here. I'm not good at identifying it. So we just blow a bomb there whenever I'm not 100% sure that it's working or not. Luckily, her second pattern is a whole lot easier. We just line up with the E on enemy, this middle one, and we move up just a tiny bit. And we can fix our position here, just make sure we don't get hit by these bullets. And now we're completely safe here. We swap Yomu, and Touhou dies really fast. Easy, easy safe spot. Now, this one is a bit easier than the first half because these are all aimed on us. And the way our route's going to work is we're going to deal with 2 entire waves, just tapping to the right. And now the next 2 waves, we're going to be tapping to the left. And we don't want to tap too quickly so that we can make sure we hit these ones on the right. If we miss any, like we could use Yomu, her like angled ghost, and hit any of them off to the side. Now, this looks like a scary pattern, but if we're just hitting with Yuyiko right away, look at it, just canceled everything. We don't have to do like any dodges. Let's make sure we're killing these right ones first. If you get to the left side too fast here, you might not give yourself that much room like I did here. It's a bit spooky. If you just sit here, you don't have to do a thing. Everything just auto dies. And we get 2 bombs, get so many resources. We're even going to overcap on lives. Here's Reisen. Reisen terrorizes a lot of new players, but the Thing is this is one of the easier stage 5 bosses because it's mostly a gimmick boss, and when you know the gimmick, it makes the patterns like a whole lot easier. So let's look at this non-spell at the start. We're using Yomu for damage. And we just sit at the very hard bottom. If you're playing English, we got this text that blocks us for a bit, but it's still not bad. We just hard sit on the bottom and we're just moving left to right. You see a lot of these non-spells are going to be really fast and then slow down at the bottom here. Now, this one, what we want to do is we need to get as much damage as we can as Yomu. And then we're going to make the same static movement every single time. We're making this like reverse L, or you could do it like on the right side. But like, it looks scary, but really, we're just moving down and to the left, and all we have to do is dodge one singular bullet. There's always just one bullet we have to move up and around or down and around, and that's it. This non-spell, we want to hit these familiars to make it a bit easier. So like, we killed one of the familiars. The way these kind of work, we can stay in this open area for a while, and then we swap lanes whenever the open areas are kind of swapping. You kill like one or two of the familiars, it makes it a whole lot easier. I'm not sure if killing the familiars makes this one easier. This is a famous one that terrorizes people, but like, once you know the timing, you just need to get the timing for whenever, how long it stays like phasing out. And once you know that timing, it's very easy to read ahead and know like, it makes it easier to know when it's gonna stop. You don't need to constantly track a safe spot the entire time it's invisible. You just look for where the safe spot will become at the end of the timing. This one, you don't want to go at point of collection, because if you get down here too late, these start flinging around everywhere. If we're at the very bottom, all of these streams of bullets, they just turn into one bullet, because by the time they hit the bottom, they're all overlapped. Luckily, Yomu's fast, so we could get to point of collection, get back down, but this one's kind of a trap. Alright, this is a cool pattern. It's one of the harder ones. The first iteration, we can sit here in the middle. Well, once we got these bullets coming out, now the middle's not safe. We need to start on a side, move to the middle, and then get through these. So what you want to do is not be scared of the corner shooting their bullets out. What you need to do is just handle each color one at a time. You see, you have a lot of time before these corner circle bullets can actually reach you. So you just need to not let those hurry you up and let you get hit by the bullets that are ahead of you. This pattern is really easy. You see these blue bullets that are right here? We just get in the fourth one from the bottom, and then we move down along with it, and we only have to dodge one layer of these bullets, so we're just tapping down and then moving to the... If you tap, like I tap diagonal down left or diagonal down right until we dodge the first initial wave, and then we're fine, it'll disappear. We go back up to that fourth layer of those blue sitting bullets, and we're fine. This is a boss that if you practice a bunch, they are really not too much of a drain on your resources. That said, this final spell is completely nuts. This one is super crazy. What I think might be an okay strat is because you know that these big, thick line of these blue bullets are going to be slow. If you hug those, you know for sure that those will be slow bullets. I didn't feel comfy around those ones, so I kind of went down. Did we cap it on this one? No, we didn't. We almost got there. Now we could choose between Final A or Final B. Final A where we fight Eren, or Final B where we like fight Kaguya. I've always liked fighting Kaguya. It felt more climactic. I'm not too big on Eren's patterns. If you want to see our Eren run, I'll link below. We cleared both the Kaguya one, which we're watching now, and an Eren run. I mostly just bombed Eren, which is why we're not going to showcase that one now. Now for the start of Kaguya's stage, we're trying to identify a safe spot. The very first blue bullet. We get to the left of it, and bam. We just hang out where that position is and get through everything. It's a safe spot. We get a lot of point items here, so this is where we make up our final extends if we're missing any. For Kaguya's version of this stage, we're going to get 3 of these fairies. All of these red bullets are shooting down. They don't curve, but we have to kill 3 fairies instead of just 1. And each wave of this will proceed in faster and faster. We have enough time, though, and we're especially fast as Yomu. Once we clear a wave, run up to a point of collection, get a bunch of points. It feels a lot easier on this one. Even with the Yuyuko's spread, which is good at hitting all of them at once, even if they're too far off, it's not too bad to swap lanes. You can usually kill most of the fairies. There'll just be like 1 remaining or something. Because we overcapped on lives, because we filled our whole life bar, we got a bonus bomb. We have a bomb to use. We're actually on no miss pace, which I wasn't expecting for this run. Now, this first pattern is really fast, and it's crisscrossing. Crisscrossing ones are scary. The place you need to be is the place that's dangerous right now. so it stops being dangerous later. Because it's very clippy for me, what I wanted to do is just dodge it once, and then that's enough time to pop one Yomu bomb and we're fine. Now, Galaxy in a pot should be scary. It's super, super easy. All we do is we sit here, and then once all these have come out, we just escape out the top left. That's all we have to do. This pattern that has terrorized me when first playing this game on like normal modes and stuff is like brain dead on Lunatic. It's so funny. You literally just go up and left, and the whole pattern's done. Aaron is way easier mid-boss compared to her one you have to do in the Aaron route. Now we fight Kaguya. Kaguya, he's pretty mean. Here's Kaguya. This is the true boss that we fight if we fight in the final B route instead of fighting Aaron. This first pattern's pretty cool. It's like a better version of Sakya's non-spells, where we're trying not to get walled by these horizontal blue and red bullets. We do have these aimed lines, but for the most part, I'm looking at these horizontal bullets, and if we do get stuck on a side, we can make cutbacks based off the sound cues because we know when those are going to shoot. This one is nightmarishly hard because it's so difficult to see these lasers. They blend in together pretty well. And you can see Yomu's death bomb doesn't really do all that much. You can actually see here, I get a 1-frame death bomb. If you death bomb on the exact frame, you get like a death bomb, but it only takes one of your bombs instead. And I was so stoked about hitting that I forgot to do the setup for this pattern. You need to be in the top left as soon as these go out because they're kind of aimed. And if they're aimed right now, they rotate down to where this middle is not very safe at all. Whereas if you do it properly, you're down here where it's not problematic and you're using Yomu to hit a lot of these familiars. So the patterns more look like this, where they're a lot more manageable to deal with. I can't do this pattern, and because I have one spell available, I know I'm going to get hit somewhere. So I want to, on purpose, be hit as Yomu, so I get Yuyiko's Death Bomb, which is just going to delete the whole pattern. So I'm lasting while I can, and if I could dodge it, I can, but I'm like, it gets spooky, let me just get hit as Yomu, pop Death Bomb, delete the entire pattern. Now we don't have any bombs available. There's a strat here where you hold focus so you can't run into the familiars, but you sitting on top of them blocks some of the bullets from spawning. I'm not very good at it. The dangerous thing here are these blue and black bullets in the background. Those are the real problems. We want these big donuts and everything to dictate our general movement path, but past that, I'm looking at these black bullets. We want to kill these familiars on the sides. They shoot these aimed lasers. If we position like this, our ghost will kill some of them on the right, and we'll kill the ones directly above us quickly. And if we don't position right, like I did here, we can move over to the side and deal with these. They're not too bad to bait and aim. The lasers don't become active for very long. There's another strategy where you just sit hard in the middle and move up and down and stream at a certain pace, and you kill Kaguya pretty fast. I find this way a bit more dynamic, because the other one, you just die if it ever goes wrong. This one, we could, if something happens, we could do dodges, whatever. Now for this one's not too bad. What you need to know is these bullets, these beams, are way bigger horizontally than they are vertically. That's something to pay attention of. These blue lanes aren't static here. They're kind of moving like a little bit. You need to pay attention to that. Whenever these red bullets start collapsing in on us a bit more, then we'll swap the lanes. This is a really cool pattern. It's so crazy, though. We don't have room at the bottom, so we need to be up at the top. What we want to do is go through the red stars and then dive into a safe laser lane. I got way too close to the bottom, so we had to wing a hard dodge with the red bullets. This is the only time I've ever captured this. And now we're on no miss pace, onto the final pattern. We have one problem. One big problem. I didn't practice this pattern because I was like, I'm just going to double bomb it and we'll be fine. And now we're here, and now we have to dodge it. So here's how this pattern goes. You need to listen to the sound cues in how these bullets will reflect off the sides. Because whenever they hit the side of the wall is when they start aiming, and you need to identify the exact point in between two of the waves happening on the sides of the walls to make your cuts. Otherwise, shit like this happens. You have to make a bit of spooky movements to make your cutbacks. And it lasts a really long time, this card. You see she's taking no damage. She doesn't take damage, noticeable damage, until this point here. And you see, we got a kind of a bit of the rhythm, but I moved a bit too fast. That bullet was moving too slow for me to make a dash like that. So now we do it the boring way. Now the no miss is out of the picture, sadly. So now we just, if you want to do this easily and you have the resources, does she have a bomb shield or did I just miss Kaguya? I'm not sure. But you just keep tapping to the sides and then pop bomb. And if you have enough resources, this will get you enough damage to get through the whole thing. Yeah, I'm not sure if she has a bomb shield or not. I haven't noticed that's not doing damage. I assume she does have one. But this is how you could just spend resources to delete the rest of the pattern. And now we're off too. If we fight Aaron, you get one really long last spell that you don't need to clear to beat the game, but it's really cool. You want to... Same thing with these. We get a lot of rapid fire spells. We're going to get a whole ton of these. And if you're playing for score, this is where a huge amount of points are. That first pattern's really easy, and I messed it up. We get a whole bunch of these back to back. It's fun to see. It doesn't matter for the clear. These are just for score, but it's fun to see how many of these we can do. Because it's climactic. We see how many of these we can go for. These, I'm not sure how you do this one. There's probably a better way other than visually, because it's kind of a mess in finding where the safe area is. This is by far the easiest one, because it looks like these goes pretty fast. We just unfocus and move in between them. If you just focus on one line at a time, it's kind of like the effect you get when you're looking outside a car window at a building. Like, if you're not paying attention, they just go past you. But if you are paying attention, then they kind of... It's like it moves in slow motion as you track it. It's like the same kind of effect there if you focus in on one line. This should be a really easy one, but I didn't lab it too hard. You just keep moving, switching lanes, and you'll last by the time you reach the other side without needing to cut back, I think. But you have to switch between moving forward 2 lanes or moving forward 1 lane. I didn't lab that one out. So now here's the final one. We've messed up all of the last spells. We at least got to get one of them. Get one cool one. And this one is an intense one. She's going to rotate between all different bullet types. And we got to dodge them one at a time until the end where they all collapse in on us. This one gets pretty crazy. It's hard to... You get lingering bullets from the last section you got to deal with, and they're moving opposite ends. And then at the end here, I think if we sit under in this position, this is like a spot where you have a lot of room to work with. At least we got this one. I'm really happy with that one. We messed up all the other ones, but we got the climactic final spell. So that's Touhou 8. This is my favorite Touhou by far. In both the... This is by far my favorite in the theming, in like just the game in general, the mechanics, all the bullet patterns I like a lot more than most of the other games. This is one that's really near and dear to me. It's also one of the best ones to start with on like normal mode. It's got a really good progression curve. Even though the Lunatic is pretty easy, it's also like easy relative to like some of the harder ones, which are going to come up in a little bit. But this is by far my favorite one. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you want to mess with Yomu, this is kind of some like basic strats to get like a basic clear for it to make the stages a whole lot easier.